Cock 45 here, your internet shooting companion, knocking everything off the table. The ballistol can that I rely on. Oh man, and almost a Talon grip can. I keep, well, I can't tell you what I keep in it. See, you think it's just for looks, and because Talon Grips is a supporter of the channel, but I keep it full of vodka, gin, Jack Daniels. Nah, you know better than that. 4570 is what I'm shooting. Anyway, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the barren hills of Tennessee. Yeah, oh well, the home of Chet Atkins. Yeah, I mentioned Eddie Arnold last week. How about Chet Atkins? He was on my short list. Well, what a guitar player that guy was. Man, maybe he still lives somewhere, right? So yeah, it's Tennessee, and you know, it is barren of leaves. At least green leaves. It's barren of leaves, but it's not really barren of trees. And you know, now that I think about it, it's not even barren of leaves. They're all out there. They're just relocated to the ground, right? Yeah. So we got all the same leaves. They're just a different color. They're on the ground. All those trees are still there. See, I'm not a genius. I keep telling you I'm a genius. You don't seem to believe me for some reason. 4570. You have to be a genius if you shoot 4570, right? Well, you have to be someone with impeccable taste. Someone with good taste, right? If you actually have managed to procure yourself a firearm that chambers and fires 4570, and you have some ammo for it, you're a lucky dude, and you are very discriminating. You might even appreciate history, right? Show me somebody who has probably, in 95% of cases at least, show me somebody who has purchased by choice, went out and bought a 45 Colt firearm, single action probably of some sort, not necessarily, a 4570, a 30-30, maybe 30-30, a 4440, any kind of lever gun. You're probably someone who kind of has an appreciation for history, don't you think? I know I go overboard with it, but I don't know. I like these old cartridges. You know, I grew up in the Wild West. What can I say? I sort of did. Now I live in a world with airplanes. You know, really, many of us, if you're close to my age, you're lucky enough to have lived so long to tell about it. We did kind of grow up in the Wild West, per se, in a manner of speaking, right? How many hours do you think between ages, I don't know, 5, 3, and 10, 3 and 15, did you invest, put it that way, watching Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, Have Gun Will Travel, Bonanza, my gosh, name them. You know, it's funny, I can't, Tales of Wells Fargo, Laramie, Wagon Train. You know, we could name them all day long almost, couldn't we? There were so many. So we kind of did grow up in the Wild West. Maybe we grew up in a fictional world because it was just on the tube, right? I had not even been in the West until, you know, whatever, 15 years ago. Well, no, actually I had in the 80s. Flew out there to several places. I hadn't been in the West until the 80s, though, till 80, whenever that was. First trip to California, San Diego, 80, yeah, I don't know, 2 or 3, something like that. But I had not been in the West as a child, even as a teenager, out past Texas anyway. And so we grew up, we grew up in the Wild West, though, on the TV screen. And it sounds kind of lame when I put it that way. But in a way, it was, I think, better than a lot of the way kids grow up now, because we got a lot of good lessons out of those old TV shows. We really did. And I didn't come to that thinking as much until recently. when things began to deteriorate, on the boob tube, and there's just not much there. If anything, most of it almost influences kids in the wrong direction, whereas those old Western and other shows too, but especially the Westerns, there was usually a kind of a moral to the story. And it was Andy Griffin or the Westerns or whatever. And if somebody was, some little kid was shoplifting, maybe the whole episode was related to that, like Little Opie, or maybe Mark on the Rifleman or something, where, it was how their parents or parent would deal with that. And that kid would learn the lesson by having to go through the embarrassment of apologizing to the store owner and taking it back, or maybe working for them for a week, mopping floors because they had actually stolen a candy bar or something. If we're not careful, we could laugh at that kind of stuff now. It might seem kind of hokey, some of those shows, but people growing up watching that kind of thing, it just, I don't know, I think it was good for us, but what do I know? Here I am yakking about something I didn't even know I was going to talk about. What do I have? Yeah, man, I have. This is one I've not had out for a while. I was moving some stuff around looking for a firearm I've misplaced in one of the safes. And I saw the old guide gun, 4570, the old guide gun. And you've seen it before probably. If not, got 2 or 3 videos on it. And I haven't fired that in a while. I have neglected it because I have so many nice 4570s. When I got this, wow, what 4570 did I have? I guess I had the 1886 because I bought it in the 80s, 1980s. But I didn't have a lot of 4570s like I do now. And I was just so glad to get this short little, because these things were not being made much. There weren't all these options for short-barreled 4570s back in the 80s, okay, 90s. The guide gun was one of the, I guess, wasn't it one of the first ones, maybe? And I know Wild West Guns, the company, was taking the Model 95s and making guide guns out of them whenever that was going on. 80s, 70s, 80s, I don't know. And as I understand, that's what convinced Marlin to actually make a guide gun, to make a shorter one, kind of like this, because that's what they were doing. They're still in business. So I've been in their shop in Las Vegas and see them at the SHOT Show, I guess. But so anyway, the guide gun, pretty cool. This was I bought it used in '89, around this time of the year. I've told that story. I remember my mother was sick, dying of a brain tumor, and I was going back and forth north to Kentucky to take care of her when I wasn't, teaching and on vacations and stuff. I'd go up there, and I was leaving early one Friday, I guess it was. I don't know. And I was headed up there for the weekend. I stopped in a little gun shop on Lebanon Road in Nashville, over around Rivergate area. It's still there. Many of you may know about it. Lebanon Gun Shop. I don't know the name of it. Forget the name. It's on kind of that corner plaza, 2 Mile Parkway, and Lebanon Road. They still got kind of a metal door to get in, or 2 doors or something. I forget. I haven't been in for a little while, but anyway, yeah, they had a couple of them in there, and I decided to have that. I didn't want the porting necessarily, but the guys at the shop didn't know how to fill it in. But I didn't look for the porting. If I were going to order one, I wouldn't want porting necessarily. But it's got it, and I've always liked this. Okay, so that's what I've got, 4570 out. I was in the mood. I'm always in the mood to shoot some 4570. It seems, those were some Steinel rounds I was firing there, and they are 1,270 feet per second, and they are 405 grain. It's enabled us to just stay objective, which we would have anyway, but we've been able to stay objective and still make a living, put it that way. Not beholden to any gun companies. So, oh yeah, I was going to shoot it real fast, wasn't I? Oh, kablooey. How about the cowboy? I'm at the Clyde again. Yeah, McCollum. That was it. That's the only negative of this thing. Like it's a big matter, like it matters if you're hunting or something, but it just holds 4 rounds in the magazine, and it'd be so much cooler if that magazine were full length and would hold 1 more round, even, wouldn't it? I mean, well, I say a lot cooler. I mean, it's like a why not? Like, why not? Why not just have the magazine full length of the barrel? It doesn't add to the length of the firearm or anything like that. Make sure I'm recording, not talking to myself. Okay, probably am talking to myself. None of you are probably listening, right? So these big cases lying around here. I might, just in case I need to spray that thing around a little bit, which I think I did. I oiled it a little bit. I didn't oil the bulb. Yeah. Boy, this thing is smooth. It is smooth. Pretty cool. Yeah, man. Also appreciate Alabama Holster. Oh, there's my phone. I've got my holster all the time. Pretty cool. Great maker of concealment holsters, Kydex, inside the waistband. I just got one in this week. In fact, a belt holster for my 2.5 inch Model 19. When winter comes around, I should have worn that today. Well, maybe next week. I am more likely to wear a belt holster when I have, a jacket, cover garment, all through the winter. I will sometimes carry a slightly larger firearm, and like a 357 Magnum or 44 Special or something. So I was glad to get that flapjack holster, and it's an outside the belt flapjack. I've shown you those before. Really, really nice. And so anyway, what else do you want to know about? Well, you saw the little short I posted this week on gun giveaways. The scams going around the internet. I hope you do keep up with the shorts. They get a lot of views, so I'm assuming our regular viewers are catching the shorts. I think early on, some people, I'd see a comment occasionally, I don't care about these shorts, I don't want to see the shorts or whatever. But we do them for fun, some of them, but some of them have information. We need to get out to you. so it's like, why not do it in a short? And but anyway, and I wanted that one to get around. I'm not on TikTok or anything, giving away guns and all that kind of thing. And I noticed now, someone sent me some stuff. Someone's using my real name and trying to do some giveaway somewhere. It just never ends. The people out there. All I can say is, you know me. So whatever imposters might be up to on any platform on the big wild west of the internet, it should be pretty obviously not me. As I said in that short, anything I've got going on, we've got going on, we're going to contest or whatever it is, guess what I would talk about that, especially like right now in the Sunday video when I do so much talking, right? And so you ever see something, now someone who doesn't follow the Sunday videos, I don't know, maybe they could get scammed more easily, I don't know, or they don't see many of our videos, period, who knows. But anyway, and I thought as I posted that, well, it sounds like I'm a little cheap, I don't want to do gun giveaway. Well, we actually give away a lot of firearms, some you don't know about, that hardly anybody does, that person got them, but we also give away the guns. We feel like get better bang for the buck. They're giving them to like a cause, the Tennessee Firearms Association, that fights for the gun rights. And I've got 2 right now this year. We'll go to the Tennessee Firearms auction already. And, just feel like we're doing more good. I know it looks great if you're choosing somebody out of 7 million people, you're going to give them a gun. I could do that. I don't know how I'd do that now, especially if everything's a scam. But it's kind of like a lottery or something, but we feel like we're doing more good that way. At least the guns we give away publicly, that kind of thing. So anyway, don't forget the merch page at Bud's. most of what we post is demonetized now, and that helped make up for some of that. All right. Can I shoot some more? I'm gonna shoot the 300 grain rounds. 300 grainers. All right. These will be a little faster. And we're gonna lose the target, and I'm gonna cry. I gotta figure out a better way to tack that thing up, don't I? That's that same backboard, by the way, that caught fire. It caught fire. You know, I've taped it up with some black tape. It's like I can't afford a new piece of cardboard or something. So I just taped it up and painted it. No, it was black tape, that's right. I think I sprayed it as well. But I don't know, I got that cut out and it hangs and holes are all in the right place. And so I just repair this a little bit. Y'all that watch the Sunday videos, remember that, right? We had a little fire. It was with, I guess that was a Sunday video. It was with a muzzle loader. I shot it and it caught fire. Pretty funny, pretty funny. All right, let's bang something here. Woo! Oh boy, those do it. Knocked the heck out of that thing. I just put 2 or 3 in. Those are, you know, I've got Skinner sights on everything, every lever gun I own practically. This one I had back, I think before I knew about Skinner sights. It has the XS sights on it, which caused me to fall in love with those Skinner sights, I guess, originally. And I think they're on pretty well. I had to replace the front sight as well on this one because it's not the cowboy version. The octagonal barrel cowboy Marlins, it's been my experience, I'm standing on brass, my experience that I don't need to replace the front sight on those. But now if it's a Marlin and it is a round barrel like this, it's not the cowboy version, I think often you need to replace the front sight. It's not high enough or whatever. But fortunately on all my my Marlin, which most of them, almost all of them are cowboy models, I can just pop that rear Skinner sight on and I'm good to go. So anyway, pretty neat, pretty neat. You know, last week I mentioned how I own some Berkshire Hathaway. Buffett and somebody mentioned how he's on the board. What do they call it? I looked it up. The advisory board, yeah, for every town for gun safety, which is a gun control group. Gun safety, yeah, they use gun safety and all that. And I researched that, and as much as I could find, and I know he apparently is, or was, and is, I think, and doesn't seem real active. I kept running across a interview and where he's made a point to say that none of his opinions about you know, firearms policy or anything has anything to do with his companies, with the company or any of that. It's all just personal, and he's advised all the subsidiaries and companies he owns to, you know, purchase Smith & Wesson stock, whatever, you know, that's fine, you know. So anyway, kind of good news, bad news. I don't know what I think about all that. What I have done with, I like Berkshire Hathaway, and I have to take required minimum distributions every month at my age from my retirement plan, and I just take them out. I have to take them, and whether I need them or not, and I just move them over to my brokerage account and put them in Berkshire Hathaway, right down to the dollar, just move it, because there's no dividends involved that I have to pay tax on later anyway. I pay tax on the money as it comes out of my retirement program. Y'all that the age on you know about all that, and RMDs and everything. So I don't know, I'm gonna look at that. I just put that somewhere else. I like the fact that there's no dividends to pay tax. It's all reinvested automatic. Well, he reinvests it, so I don't even have to pay tax on the dividends at all. There are no dividends essentially, okay? So unlike with you, if you have a normal stock or a fund, you pay dividends on if it's a brokerage account, on the taxes every year. if it's a taxable account, whether you reinvest them or not, it was income, you pay tax on it. Whereas that doesn't happen really with Berkshire Hathaway. But I don't know, I'm going to look at that. I don't want to be supporting that even on that scale. Anyway, I appreciate somebody giving me a heads up on that. I think I remembered that after I saw that. Yeah, that's right. I'd forgotten about some involvement. He's got a liberal side to him. I think Munger was the conservative, and he was the more liberal in that duo. Anyway, can I shoot again? All right. You know I'm going to, don't you? Asking permission. Oh boy. It's funny, people don't get my sarcasm sometimes. That's just the way it is. It's been that way my whole life. Most of my life. I see video comments still on what was it? Oh yeah, I mentioned the recent video of the Taurus we posted about not knowing what MSRP means, what it stands for. And, a lot of people thought I was serious, as usual, and explained to me what MSRP stands for. And I'm terrible. I know that's happened several times. So that'll be ongoing, from 10 years from now, people will be explaining to me what MSRP means when they watch that video. You remember the video, if you've seen it, where what was I explaining? Hard cast bullets, what a hard cast means, and lead, different kinds of lead, I think. And I had an anvil. Well, actually, it's a piece of railroad track, about that long, and I painted it red. I've had for years. Used it for an anvil. I've got some anvils too, but I had that on the table, and I was pounding on the lead and whatever. And somewhere in that video, I mentioned something about this makes a great anvil. I'm not sure what that is, but it makes a great anvil. I just said it like that, of course. Well, obviously, it's a piece of railroad track, right? So I acted like I didn't know what it was. But, so anyway, I get a lot of people telling me that that's a piece of railroad track. It just never ends, right? That's the funny thing about doing videos like this. Some of you have discovered that, right? If you misspeak or you really do say something dumb, it's not even intentional, which also happens with me, then you live with it for the next 10, 20 years, right? Because a lot of people discover your idiocy or my idiocy for the first time every day and are perfectly anxious to bring it to our attention, right? All right, through the bowling pin, hit the cowboy. I love that. All right. What about you, Bigfoot? That'll take him down. Got one more round. Propane tank. All right. Nice, nice. The Steinel ammo has a coating on it, and helps prevent leading, so that's kind of nice. The ones I load for 4570, I put a cardboard wad between the powder and the bottom of the bullet, as opposed to the top of the bullet, and it's kind of a gas check. I did that with black powder, and I just got to where I started doing it with modern powder too, and help keep the leading down. Because, for those who don't know, based on my many years studying physics, the heat from the burning powder melts the base of the bullet as it's going out the barrel. Okay, so it's not just the lead in contact with the rifling and everything. It's the fact that some of that lead is actually hot and kind of melting on the way out. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So anyway, so that helps prevent that. Great deal. Pretty cool. Again, this is called the Marlin guide gun. Let's see. Is that what's on the barrel? Well, no, it's a model 1890. Well, yeah, it is 1895G. 1895G is the model. G standing for guide gun, and 4570. And of course, this is a JM model. It goes back to at least the 80s. Have I looked up when this one was made? I'll have to check my record. I may have. I bought it, I don't know if maybe some of y'all, this looks like it's in the 2 million range. Okay, 2,067,000. Yeah, 2,067,000. Some of you might know that right off the top of your head. I'll look that up. All I know is it was made well before '89, because it was used and looked like it had maybe been, not that it was beat up, but been used for a while before that. I scratched the receiver. See the bluing off that down on 10 Outdoors 9's place. We were doing some shenanigans down there years ago, doing a video, some different things, and I scratched it because I had it on my back and it rubbed against I don't know, some ammo I had or whatever on an ammo belt, and I was able to buff it out, but they haven't re-blued that. It's okay. Great little gun. Great little gun. So what else? How about some young people advice before I get too carried away here, go too long. Again, I'm going longer on the too much talking, over on the Patreon channel. Yakking there if you want more yakking, meaningless yakking about different things, topics, and comments. Young people, I made a couple of notes about young people here. Boy, my only advice is work to make yourself a better person, more ethical person. Be about that progress, okay, that process, and try to make some progress a little bit every year, just improving yourself, being smarter. Try not to get enslaved by your baser instincts. It's so easy to be envious and jealous of other people, or develop hatred towards people or groups. It's easy to do all of that stuff, right? When you think about it, when you think of, now it's not so much that way these days, but when you think about the worst old bigot you can imagine, especially if I'd asked this question 10 years ago, 20 years ago, draw me a picture of someone who you just think is very likely to be a bigot, a racist, redneck, or whatever. Well, you might draw a picture of me. Well, that's not what you want to be, of course. But that picture of people, that picture that would come to your mind would probably be some backwoods person with no education and no sophistication, hadn't maybe been out of the county he lives in, and grew up in a family where there was a lot of hate, a lot of bigotry, and so he grew up hearing parents, uncles, whatever, aunts, making fun of groups of people, always telling jokes about them, and expressing hatred towards various types of people, groups of people, whatever it is, age, gender, you name it, color. That's what we think of, right, as someone who is just totally unenlightened, unsophisticated, has not gotten out of the house much, hasn't traveled much, hasn't met people that are different from him very much, right, that can lead to that sort of thing. Well, these days that's, I'll tell you, I thought most of that had been stamped out, through the internet, TV, and everything. It's just, we all kind of absorb the same media in a lot of ways. And, you don't find those little pockets of just absolute idiotic rednecks anymore. I don't think. I'm sure they're out there. Well, these days it seems to almost gone the opposite route. So much of the bigotry, racism, is coming from people supposedly educated, supposedly smart. I don't know what that's about. Social media, I guess, kind of bred that. I don't know what that is. But anyway, make sure you're working on being an enlightened person. Totally the opposite of woke. Being enlightened and understanding the world a little bit better. Read, I think, it just doesn't hurt one bit. Because we all have that capability of living that darker side. You know, one of the things I'll never forget seeing you may hate Jordan Peterson, but I saw a video of him giving a lecture or an interview, and he was talking about how one of the things he would ask in his classes was, these college classes, he would ask, what is it? I mean, I get this exactly right, but he would ask, how many of you think you would never have been a guard at Auschwitz, you know, Jewish concentration camp? How many of you think you would never have done that if you had been, you know, a German, or you were living during that time and you've been asked to do it or forced to do it almost? How many of you think you would not have done that? You would have totally rejected that, you know? And of course, everybody raised their hand. And then he said, and his whole purpose in that discussion is to shock them a little bit, I think. But and they all raised their hand. No, I wouldn't do it, you know. And he said, yes, you would. You know, he just tells them that, yes, you would. You think you wouldn't, but you would. You know, most of you would. You know. Anyway, he used that kind of, and I may not have it exactly right, but as a springboard for that discussion about how we all have that darker. Oh yeah, he says, yes, you would, and you might have enjoyed it. Yeah, how's that? That really got my attention, and he was really just trying to express a stark reality of human nature to some extent, that we all have that capability, that dark side, if we let it, you know, slip out, or we don't control it, you know, and that kind of thing, and trying to just be realistic about things, you know. Just you could actually become a better person if you're aware of that. You're aware that we all have that darker potential or whatever, and just being aware of that is a good thing, you know. So it was kind of a positive discussion, you know, he was trying to have there. So I thought that was interesting. You know, we're all just human, and under the certain circumstances, you know, it's hard to know what we might be capable of doing. So you have to think about that ahead of time and guard against that. So anyway, that's my advice, for whatever that's worth. Work to be an ethical human being, and not be swayed by so much of the idiocy you see today, right? Can I shoot this again? Speaking of an idiot doing something, that's me. I'm gonna hit something I've not hit yet. What would that be? I can't shoot anything too close here, even though these are lead bullets. They're pretty heavy and they're going pretty fast. But I can shoot that hog. Let's do that. This would be a pretty nice hog gun, wouldn't it? Oh man, that would take a hog down. This would take a Bigfoot down, I think. And some people get mad at me for shooting at Bigfoot. Like, what did he ever do to you? Well, he's in my woods. He's in my woods. I don't trust what he might do. I'm going to shoot him again. He's hanging out in my woods, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm at risk. I'm at risk. Can you tell the smoothness of that action? Oh man. Hey, that might make you can just record about 10 minutes of that. I might do that. That might be a new series of videos. It'd be Marlin 1895 guide gun. What do we call it? Beautiful sounds or something. And it's just, I guess we'll do a video with it so you can see it. I just hold it up. For 10 minutes. And you could just play that in your background, right? If you have not gotten to the range for a couple of weeks, you just pick out, you know, what do you want to hear? Colt single action, cocking, over and over and over, a lever action, double action revolver, whatever. Oh well, I'm sick, and I don't deny it. So, like I said, remember, I'm not involved in any scams or anything on the internet, and just ignore that stuff. And you know, and believe about half of what you hear anyway. Yeah, that's the thing. Uh, your first inclination on the internet really should be to not believe anything on it, right? You know that should be your default setting, really. when anything comes across to you on the internet, I mean, you have to be that way these days. I'm that way with email. There's so many scam emails and things that I just don't believe it. I have trouble. Banks or anybody that I am doing business with has trouble getting through to me if it's like if Amazon actually wrote me an email. Am I going to read it? I got something from one of my banks, a major bank in the country, one time. It's been a year or so ago. And it just looked like a typical scam of some kind. And you were to click on something. Yeah, anyway. It was something semi-important. If I at the time, I don't recall what it was. So I think I printed it out, and I just called the bank one time. I don't know, maybe a week later. I said, let me check on that. That might have been something I do need to do. Yes, sure enough, it was legit. So I don't know how you get in touch with the customers if you, I don't know, if you're a company that a lot of people do business with, because those are the companies that the scammers pick, right? You get all this stupid stuff. Your Amazon package couldn't be delivered, or your Netflix account has been discontinued or whatever, all those kinds of things. Well, they know they send that out to everybody. At least half the people use Amazon or Netflix or whatever. And so, really? My account's not active? What did I do? Did I not pay? Let me click on that and see what that's about. Well, yeah, right, see. So I don't know how you would get in touch with people. I mean, they have ways to do it, but it makes the world problematic. The good news is we have email, and you can be in communication with anybody, right? The bad news is we have email, and anybody can be in communication with you and try to scam you. So it just hadn't worked out like we hoped it would, right? So I'm going to quit yakking and let you go, and I will see you next Sunday. I hear that sweet sound of gunfire across the. I've been hearing it over here. It could be deer hunting, but I've been hearing too much of it. It's not all deer hunting, unless they're having to put 5 rounds into the same deer to take him down or something like that. So it's just a nice day, and people are out shooting. Can you imagine? Yeah, probably just like Central Park today. It's a nice day, maybe in New York, and people are out there just shooting. So I'll let you go, and I will talk to you later, probably next Sunday. Life is good.